So we're heading into the business end of all of the tournaments this week. On the men's side, we've got Buenos Aires, Dallas, Rotterdam, and we've got Felix Auger-Aliassime and Sasha Bublik, maybe the two top 10s that got away. And on the women's side, wow, Mboko magic yet again at a Masters event as she takes out Rybakina, the Australian Open champion.
That's right, Ben. We're back for another episode. We've had a little bit of time off since the Australian Open. It's that period in between waiting for Indian Wells on the men's, but there's still some really big tournaments happening, and the biggest one being the women's right now in Qatar. It's going to be followed up with another Masters event in Dubai. We do have, of course, like you say, Rotterdam, Dubai for the men's, but these are 500 events. So no Masters until Indian Wells. The women have started already. The big story from this last week, I would say, has got to be Mboko. I know you covered it yesterday when you did a preview. I've not had to say my thoughts yet. I think she is incredible. She is a top 10 player in my eyes. She could be one what got away, not including her inside the top 10. And I was just reading some stuff here. So Mboko was 333 at the start of 2025. She will be a top 10 player on Monday, unless she loses tomorrow and Muchova wins Doha. So if Muchova wins Doha, she won't be. It's kind of irrelevant. It's short-termism. She's going to be, I think, inside the top 10 come the end of the year, if injuries permits her to play a full season, because she's just that good. I mean, the players she's beaten this week sort of highlights how well she's playing and how good she can be. At 19 years old, she's just beaten Rybakina, Mira Andreeva back-to-back in 3 sets. Of course, they were really tight. I think the Mira Andreeva one, she probably should have won, but it was tight. But Mboko was the person at the end of it winning the match, and it just shows and highlights how good of a player she is. I will eat my hat if she's not inside the top 10 at the end of the year. I think she's got good chances of winning this event, but there's no certainty in that because I think Muchova is a very good player. And for the season, I don't want people to say I'm getting too carried away with the recency and the results of what she's doing, but she's definitely going to be inside the top 10. I think we missed one there.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? She seems to turn up at the big tournaments as well. That's the one takeaway. Obviously, just from the Australian Open, she made it to the 4th round there, which was a really impressive, her best ever slam finish so far in her young career. And I think what's the most impressive thing is the result here in Doha. The fact that she got one back over Mira Andreeva, who just recently destroyed her in a final just before the Australian Open. It wasn't even close. And now she not only came back and beat her, but had to save match point against Mira Andreeva and then beat her as well. Mentally strong, I think, is the big thing from her. And to do it against Rybakina as well, down a break in the 3rd set, to come back again to defeat the Australian Open champion, who was serving brilliantly. Rybakina, it was on her racket, really.
She's not lost, Rybakina, for some time. She's on a good streak. The best player on the women's tour right now, you could say, Rybakina. And Mboko beat her. So, yeah, I'm very convinced that this is a player who can compete for Grand Slams this year.
Yeah, I'm hoping some of this good form may rub off on Coco Gauff, because they've been playing doubles together and they're not the best in doubles, but I like the fact that they're sort of forming a good bond, good partnership. I think that these are two players who can really bounce off each other really well and push each other in the future. Obviously, Coco Gauff, I think, is young, and she's not younger than her, is she? But she's around the same age, I believe.
Let's have a look. Because Gauff still can't be a teenager, surely not.
I mean,
can't be a teenager. She's 21. Coco Gauff.
So she's around the similar age, like 19 and 21.
Yeah,
and I think that's a brilliant thing, because she's probably watched Coco Gauff come through, and what a person to now become friends with and an inspiration, really. Somebody who's already won 2 Grand Slams, and she can take a lot away. And I think now Coco Gauff, watching what Mboko's doing on the court, that's an inspiration to her. The roles can reverse now. Because Coco Gauff had a terrible Qatar event again.
Yeah.
She's gone out in the second round 3 times now. That's all the last 3 years. It's not getting any better for her here. And Mboko just going from strength to strength. She looks so powerful on the court as well. There seems to be that. I think when you're younger, there's like this air of you don't get the nerves in the same way. It looks like she's a bit more carefree on the court. I think Coco's carrying more weight on her shoulders, more expectation because she's been around a lot longer. And Mboko, she's just running with it and taking out some big scalps along the way. And she faces Yelena Ostapenko. And we know when Ostapenko is in form, that is a dangerous opponent. That's the semi-final, which is later on today. How do you see that one going?
It's going to be tight. Difficult one to call. But let's wait and see what happens. I don't know. I think Ostapenko is a player who's very inconsistent. I know Mboko now has got she's the second player since Ostapenko to reach this stage of Qatar as a teenager. So, but Ostapenko was able to do that too. So it definitely suits that kind of powerful tennis player, this event. But who knows what's going to happen? I think it's a very open field. Something I wanted to speak about, which we didn't get a chance to, on the theme of Canadians, is Felix. He won Montpellier last week. And he defeated Droget in the final. I mean, the field wasn't great. There was Stan Wawrinka in there, who he beat along the way, I believe. You had Thomas Mahat, Get Gia, Umber, but really the field, I would expect him to be winning that event. And I was just pulling something up here because in terms of indoor hard courts, this guy is an absolute beast. He's playing in Rotterdam right now and just beaten Medjedovic in straights to reach the quarterfinal in Rotterdam. And he's got 90 wins on an indoor hard court since 2020. Nobody from that period till now has more wins on an indoor hard court than Felix.
Yeah, it's incredible. And just like it says here, and just to confirm, it was Manarino he beat in the final in Montpellier.
Okay. It was a semi-final he beat Droget, right?
I believe so, yeah. Let me just double check that just to be accurate.
Yeah,
it was
semi-final. And then Manarino in the final.
Yeah, so, and you see here, it says his indoor hard court this decade. You see 3 finals in 2020. You've got their 5 titles in 2022 and another final as well. 2023, 1 title. 2025, 2 titles and a final. And now he's already started this year with another title. He started the year. 9. Yeah, he started the year in great form. This is the one thing I didn't expect from him. I wasn't sure. We don't normally see Felix until the back end of the year. And the fact he started so strong can only bode well, because if he has good slam performances to add to a good start and end to the year, I mean, he's a shoo-in for top 10, isn't he? It's another one that got away. I think the Canadians that got away should be the name of this episode. Mboko, Felix, he looks commanding on an indoor hard court. His game suits it just down to the ground. Very big serving, very powerful forehands, great movement. Just seems to have the whole package on indoor hard court.
I'm still doubling down that he doesn't stay inside the top 10 though.
Ooh.
Because we can't just keep going off what we're seeing for now.
True.
Over the course of a year, there's a lot of tournaments not on an indoor hard court. And I don't think he's going to do very well at it, and it's on the clay. Or I think at Wimbledon, he sometimes doesn't quite do what he should be doing either. He's good. He's a really good grass court player. He is a really good tennis player, and you could make a case that he's going to be inside the top 10. People called us crazy for not including him. Same with Bublik. I mean, there's going to be a lot of players, I think, who just miss out or maybe make it. And one of our players who we've included miss out. I think he's in that bracket. He's a very good player, but there's not enough I've seen so far to suggest that I've made a real big mistake. I think he could easily just miss out inside the top 10, because over the course of a season, there's a lot of times he does lose against players you'd expect him to beat. especially when it's not on an indoor hard court.
Well, maybe they'll eradicate that. Crazy to think Felix 25 years old as well.
Yeah.
So still so young as well. That sort of ties in nicely. I know you're saying we can't really change our mind on people based on this. Somebody else, obviously, who the world was their oyster. Last year, we expected big things. João Fonseca
Yeah.
hasn't, he's obviously suffered injury. Has he come back too quickly? This is another thing, and I'm worried about Flavio Cobolli as well for this. And I think it ties in with our top tens nicely. Cobolli and Fonseca both seem to be coming back to play, but neither of them seem to be at their top level at all. And now they're losing. Is this going to affect them mentally moving forward throughout the season?
Potentially. I think it's really damning Fonseca since he's come back. I mean, he's played, 2 matches this year? Lost to Elliot Spizzirri at the Australian Open convincingly. Just lost to Tabio in a tighter match, but you'd expect him to win that one, especially on the clay. And I'm not encouraged, really, with what I'm seeing. I think he's outside the top 30 now because he's a lot of points from... What event was it last year where he picked up a good result at this stage of the year? I think it was. Obviously, it's not... Yeah, Buenos Aires, that's right.
I think he's the champion there, so he's just gone out. So...
Yeah, so he's outside the top 30. Obviously, the Australian Open, he took a bit of a hit as well. Next up, he's going to be playing Rio, which is a 500. We know how well Carlos Alcaraz did. In Brazil as well for Fonseca, I think he needs to be winning that event. Otherwise, I'm going to be very upset. Will he? I don't think he will. I think there is a few physical problems. He doesn't seem to be reaching the height. And that could have been a really bad call. I mean, if you're looking at Fonseca, say, versus a Felix or a Bublik, then you'd have to... I can understand why people would think that I'm a bit crazy, but I do think there's a play. I took a bit of a punt, more of a risky pick, and so far it's backfiring. Just like your Cobolli one, they don't seem to be reaching the heights we thought they could. It's like from where they were last year, there's been no improvement. And they've declined.
They both got injured. Slightly. They both had injuries, and now I think that they've come back too soon, to be honest. And Fonseca has a lower back injury, which is what he was struggling with. He obviously withdrew from Brisbane and Adelaide, then lost to Spizzirri at the Australian Open. Yeah, I think he's coming back too soon. I think that's what he said after this match as well. That was what was causing him problems in his loss to Tabilo. Obviously, you don't like to hear that somebody's coming out saying he still completed the match, so it can't have been that bad that he was still able to complete. If it's that bad, you'd probably just retire in the match, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But he still believed he could win. He lost 7-5 in the third and final set. Hopefully, it improves. You have to weigh it up, really. Is it worth continually playing tournaments to try and get back to fitness, or is it worth having the longer recovery period just to get yourself back fully fit? Because taking losses in a row, like at the moment, I know there's an exhibition in there as well, but
that's free.
It's 3 in a row at the moment. It's not pretty reading. I'm sure he won't like to be looking at his record and just seeing reds after reds after reds, and neither will Cobolli because it's 4 in a row for Cobolli as well. So tough reading. Hopefully both of them come back. We know they're both potential top 10 players, but not on current form. Somebody who is Sasha Bublik, who played Hubi Hurkacz in Rotterdam and had something to say about Hubi Hurkacz, which was ace, ace, double fault, ace, ace. What the F is that? And they say that I'm the one who has no rhythm. I'm effing Djokovic compared to him. That's just what he says about Hubi Hurkacz. So...
yeah, Hubi Hurkacz started the year so well and then collapsed a bit. I believed into the hype that Hubi Hurkacz was back, and he just simply isn't at all. A bit like what you did with Tsitsipas. So yeah, I don't think Hubi Hurkacz is at the level I thought he was right now, and we know he is a little bit robotic in his style, in the sense that it is very dependent on the serve and very dependent at him getting to the net and volleying. If he's not able to do that, I think he's a little bit slower, not able to close the distances like he was, then he's not going to be as effective of a player. just going back to Fonseca,
Yeah.
I want to just more speak to you about the fact that I don't feel like he's a flash in the pan. It's not like one of these players where
No.
he's having a bad run and this is going to be the end of him. He's going to come back, just like Cobolli will. I'm sure of it. I think they're both too talented to let this define them. However, Dominic Thiem was also extremely talented. We saw a lot from him before, obviously winning the Grand Slam, getting to finals. But ultimately, it did define the end of his career. I don't think it's that serious at all for Fonseca or Cobolli. It just seems to be some small minor issues. So I'm confident that they can get back right to that top table, winning the big events.
Yeah, and that's where I think it is so important. They have time at the moment to be able to take time for recovery and stuff. So don't play and make it a chronic injury. That's all I'm worried about. Don't try and play through something when you don't need to. I think the talent's there and it won't go away. That's for sure. So,
Well, it's like Runa. He's taking the time, isn't he? Of course, he had
well,
surgery, but
no choice.
he's coming back. He's coming.
Yeah.
He's ahead of schedule now, and he's taking all the right
Mm.
steps. And he's another one who could have a good year when he returns.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see because that could go one of two ways as well. When you've been off the tour for a whole year, think how quick tennis and sport moves on and the skills that the players who are stayed on that tour for that year, they acquire additional skills that they didn't have. You've not acquired probably any new skills. You've been watching tennis, but he also might come back with a new hunger. He has like raw talent already, Holger Rune. He may come back saying, right, I'm going to get stuck into it. He'll definitely get wild cards into events, all that, even if he has dropped like far down the rankings. I was still shocked to see some names really far down the rankings. Didn't know Gael Monfils was 180 in the world. I was like, what's happened to him? Why has he gone down the rankings so much? Obviously, he's now retiring, but you see people when they go on a bad run or don't play a few tournaments for a bit of time, that ranking soon evaporates and then you find yourself in the hundreds within minutes.
I mean, it's very different for players like that because they're at the end of their career and he doesn't play many events, playing some of the slams. But yeah, I'm not that shocked about seeing Monfils all the way down there, especially with him retiring. An event we've not spoke about is Dallas. I don't know if you've seen any of that.
I haven't really watched any of it. I've seen the results flying in. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, an American you're going to think would win it. I think the three favourites were Shelton, Fritz, and Korda.
Yep.
I am looking at Ben Shelton as the man to beat, even over Fritz.
I think Fritz in this tournament, he seems to have had a little resurgence, looking a lot more like himself from what I've
Beating
seen.
who though, Ben?
Well, exactly. That's the problem. So I think, but building confidence is the thing he needs right now. He's had a very torrid start to the year. It hasn't been vintage Fritz at all. It's been very stuttery and not great from him. So I'm just happy to see him putting some convincing wins on the board. Nakashima was playing well in the match, but he still took him out like really easily. And before that, Marcus Guillon, he had a good start to the year. That was a tough match, got through that one as well. You can only beat who's in front of you. Korda next. I expect another win against Korda.
Yeah, I think I reckon it will come down to Fritz and Shelton, which I'm fascinated to see how it plays out. But I'm more siding with Ben Shelton as probably the underdog against him, maybe. But who knows? Let's wait and see. Down the bottom side, you've got Kecmanovic as his next match, and then you've got Shapovalov and Davidovich Fokina. They've both had all right draws, I guess. Dimitrov went out in the opening round against Mikkelsen, so Davidovich Fokina avoided him. And the Ben Shelton ones have been good because he beat Manarino, who just got to that final, like we mentioned earlier, and Diallo. I don't know if you saw in the Diallo match, the scoreboard, not the scoreboard, that the graphics for the ace wasn't working. So as Diallo was about to serve, before he served, it just come up and said ace. So it interrupted the match. Diallo was looking around, Shelton was laughing, and then 5 seconds later, Diallo served and hits an ace. So it's quite comical, really. It's like it knew what was going to happen before it happened, and that is a really tough player because Diallo can really thunder down some serves. Another good Canadian player on the theme of Canadians, but if I had to make my pick, I'm going to put it on the record. I'm going for Ben Shelton to win this event.
There you go, Ben Shelton to keep on moving onwards and upwards. Quick shout out to one of the Brits who's in the mix there. He's the one who knocked out Cobolli in straight sets. It's Jack Pennington Jones. He's up against Marin Cilic later this evening. Good luck to him. Hopefully this could be a breakout tournament for him. He's obviously put his name on the map a bit, mixing with the likes of these players now, playing your likes of your Cilics, someone who's obviously a Grand Slam champion now. If he gets a result against Cilic, wow, this is going to be. It will definitely be. I think this is the match. This is the one where you've arrived a bit more. So the Cobolli one, I don't know. There's excuses for Cobolli for me, but the Cilic one, he's playing great. So I don't think there will be any. Look, he's just beat Spitzerli as well, who had a great start to the year. We know how well he did against Yannick Sinner. So Pennington Jones doing it for the Brits. I think Draper's just coming back. We've seen him in some Davis Cup action, and that was it, I think. But other than that, I'm hoping Jack will be back playing some proper tournaments. No disrespect to the Davis Cup, but I want to see him in the singles. I want to see him in a big event soon, like a Masters, going deep again. Because if he doesn't, he's going to get left behind, and that's not what we need. Another player I want to touch on, because before we finish up this episode, wrapping this up, he's obviously out of the tournament this week, but it's someone that we have to speak about. We haven't spoken about him yet on the channel, and I'm worried about butchering his name. It is the young 16-year-old from France, which is Moises Kouame. Yeah, I'm blown away by the level. Does it give you Carlos Alcaraz vibes of the level at that age? That 16, for me, how hard he can hit the ball at 16 is crazy. I've not seen anyone at that age hitting at that speed.
Yeah, maybe that, but he's nothing like Carlos Alcaraz. I watched the full match of him and Elias Emeyer.
Yeah.
And that was a good match. Emeyer was a slight favourite, but Kouame played a really, really good match, especially with Emeyer serving for the match in the third set. He managed to force it back, then broke, then held. He's got really good serve. I think he is a little bit of an erratic player. So he has the ability to maybe self-destruct. We've not seen it yet at all. Gasquet is his coach, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And this is a player for the future, someone we need to speak about, because I don't see no similarities to Carlos Alcaraz at all, apart from the fact that he's a young tennis player.
I mean, for potential, like when we saw Alcaraz playing and coming through, he wasn't even playing.
Different. I'll tell you why it's different, because Carlos Alcaraz, when we saw him coming through it when he was 15, watching some of the matches, watching him, he had this real star power. I think you can maybe compare this guy to, I wouldn't even say Musetti. I feel like Musetti was better as well. Watching
a little bit later.
It's later in age, but in terms of watching what we saw on the challengers, we saw natural star ability of someone who's going to produce it at the top of the game. With him, he has power, beyond power, and a really good mentality for the age. But I've not seen enough to suggest that this guy's going to be a wonder kid. He could easily just come to the tour and kick it around sort of 10 to 50 in the world and never really go past that.
I think the one thing
could still be a Carlos Alcaraz one day, but I've not seen any indications to be that this is a Grand Slam champion. No.
Well, the one thing that I've seen which impresses me so much is his racket head speed. It's just watching how quick he turns the ball, like turns it over to generate the pace is just crazy. At 16 years old, that's because I was trying to think back when we first started watching. I remember when we were talking about like, oh, Alcaraz is playing in the Challenger. He's playing. Remember when he played in Spain? There'd always be big crowds coming out to watch. I think he was 16 then, maybe even 15 when he was playing some Challenger events. I don't think he played, and I don't know if correct me if I'm wrong. When did he play his first ATP events, like the actual 250 or 500? Because it'd be interesting to know, like, when he came into the actual main draws of events or qualifying. Because Kouame actually qualified for the first round, went through qualifying and did really well. I was actually impressed to see a 16-year-old go through qualifying.
It was in Rio, Alcaraz made his debut. as a 16-year-old in Rio.
There you go. So similar ages. That's what I was thinking in my mind. I thought it was 16. Was that when he beat who did he get his first win? It was against the other Spaniard, wasn't it? The clay court Ramos, wasn't it? He beat.
Yeah, but I can't remember all it's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a very long time ago. Obviously, a lot's happened.
Yeah, he beat Albert Ramos Vinolas.
Yeah, exactly. I remember the first win. It was very significant, and that's the one thing that it reminded me of just watching this Kouame on court. I just thought, 16 years old, all that confidence. He's now in an actual ATP. This isn't challenger. This is like top level. Obviously, he lost to Kovacevic in his actual first round match, but it was still a competitive match as well. And he's still just only 16. He's probably a lot of nerves in that first match. I think that this is an exciting time to see somebody come through and just start like spreading their wings a little bit. I'd like to see him go back down to challengers, and I don't want to see him just push straight into main draws. Maybe the odd wild card. French Open, guaranteed wild card. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think it's got to be. But we've not seen enough yet. So steady on. There's no similarities to Carlos Alcaraz yet, apart from age and that he's a tennis player. I still think he can be a really top player and be a future top 10, maybe Grand Slam champion, but we've not seen anything yet. This is just speculation. Yeah. He's going in the right direction. We need to see more of him. He needs to play challenger tennis and win some challenges.
Yes, I agree totally. That's definitely the right trajectory. He's got through the qualifying. I like the fact he's doing qualifying. It's not just a wild card entry and a first round defeat. 2 solid wins in 3 sets in the qualifying and then lost in 3 sets. So just hard matches against like seasoned actual ATP main draw players. So I think that's what he needs. Get in the challenges, win a few challenges in a row, and then you're ready for the big time, I think.
Yeah, just let's wrap up. But before we do, Buenos Aires, let's give a prediction on who you want to win or who you think's going to win, should I say?
I want to win. It's not a beat about.
Yeah, that's why I changed it. So you're not allowed to pick Cerundolo because I think that is the obvious one. No, it's obvious in the sense of I agree he's the favourite to win. We both probably think he's going to win. If you're not picking him, who are you going towards? I wonder if it's the same man as who I've got.
For me, it would have to be Sebastian Baez.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I actually want to see him versus Cerundolo in that final. I think it will be ultra competitive, and Baez has the ability to win. I think he's, especially now on the clay, he's so good. He really is.
He's one of those players you could win any clay court tournament he enters. I feel that's that good on clay. Darderi is another one though. Watch out for him. He's pretty good too. So out of all those matches, we've got to mention Capriva. He beat Matteo Berrettini in the last round, which is impressive. But looking at that, I would go Tabilo.
Good field though, isn't it? I mean, all of them are very good players.
Would you agree with these as the semi-finalists? Tabilo, Cerundolo, Baez, Darderi.
Yes, but I might go Echeverri, Cerundolo, Baez, Darderi.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to choose, but you'd have to say I would love to see Cerundolo Baez, though. That would be the ultimate match, and that would be probably about 3.5 hours of grueling clay court tennis. Playing in Buenos Aires, obviously Francisco Cerundolo, Argentinian, so is Sebastian Baez there. And yeah, the home of his beloved River Plate as well.
Yep.
So hopefully he's got his scarf on. Don't think he'll need it over there, probably.
No, but let's wrap that up. That's just some of our thoughts and an overview of the tennis right now. Indian Wells, not too far away. But the focus is going to be on Dubai before then, of course, a men's and a women's exciting tournament. It's a Masters event for the women. Can Rybakina bounce back and reclaim herself as one of the top players in the world right now? I think it could be interesting. Sabalenka, let's see how she gets on. But plenty of tennis to be discussed and talked about.
Most definitely. Make sure follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review if you'd be so kind, and some nice comments. And drop all of your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you soon.